Study Section 7. The Syllable. Introduction. The phonemes, which we discussed in the earlier study sections, are called segmentals. They include consonants and vowels. For example, man, pronounced as man, has three sound segments, which are M, he, and N. Each of the segments that constitute man is a phoneme. We are now moving further to discuss some features that apply above the segments in the English language. They are called suprasegmentals. Supra here means above. So we are dealing with features of language that operate above segments. These features apply at the linguistics level that are above phonemes. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this section, you should be able to clarify syllable as the minimum domain of the suprasegmentals. Explain the syllable from phonetic and phonological perspectives. Outline the internal structure of English syllable. Explain consonant clusters. Form complex syllable structures such as the C3, V, C4 structure. Exemplify 1. Open, 2. Close, 3. Monosyllabic, 4. Diasyllabic, 5. Polysyllabic syllables. Syllabia's minimum domain for English. Suprasegmental features. Suprasegmental features are also called prosody. As earlier explained, they are features above the phoneme. Do not get confused with the words phonemes and segments. They both refer to individual sounds. You must have noticed that while discussing segments, we discuss each sound as an entity. A sound is taken in isolation from other sounds. However, in real speech production, we cannot produce a consonant alone. Sounds are uttered in company of other sounds. When we speak, we do not utter individual sounds. The sounds occur together and blend as we produce them. Try producing K, 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 K. It will not be pronounceable, except with the addition of a vowel. This will take us to the minimum sound that could be pronounced, which is the syllable. The syllable is the minimum domain of the suprasegmental features. What are the suprasegmental features of the English language? They are stress, rhythm, and intonation. It is known that mother tongue speakers of languages naturally know what constitutes a syllable in that language. They may not be able to explain the term, but if you give them some words to break into small units that they could pronounce with a brief effort, it will be easy for them to do it. Syllable, phonetic, and phonological perspectives. Many linguists such as Ayman, 1975, Roch, 1991, have claimed that the syllable has been observed as a widely discussed unit of language. It has been discussed from both the phonetic and phonological perspectives. The syllable may be described phonetically in terms of how they are produced and how they sound. Syllables are usually described as constituting a center which has little or no obstruction to airflow and which sounds comparatively loud. This center is usually a vowel or liquid. However, before and after this center are sounds that are produced with greater obstruction to airflow, which are not as loud as the sound as the center. These margins are consonants. Now, let us take the example we used earlier to make this portion clearer. Man has three sound segments, which are M, E, and N. At the center is N, which is loud, sonorous, and the peak of the syllable. being the vowel. At the margin are the consonants M and N, produced with greater obstruction to the airflow and not as loud as N. The phonological perspective, on the other hand, is often based on the phonotactic constraints of a given language. Every language has particular ways in which sounds are arranged. The possible structure of sounds in a language can help in determining what margin note, phonological explanation of syllable, depends on each language, constitutes a syllable in such language. What are the possible ways in which the segments combine to form acceptable pronounceable units in that language? More argument in favor of the syllable as a phonological entity is how some rules apply in syllable edges. For instance, the aspiration rule in English affects voiceless plosive that begin a syllable. This implies that wherever there is aspiration in the English language is a syllable boundary. It has also been observed that some games are played by attaching some words to the edges of syllables in some languages. Looking at the syllable from a phonological perspective, Rach, 1991, views the syllable as comprising an obligatory vowel, which is the nucleus, and two margins, which are the onsets, i.e., the consonants, before the nucleus and the coda, i.e., the consonants after the nucleus. He, however, observes as more refined recent works in phonology, in which the vowels and the coda, if there is any one, are termed as a rhyme. Syllable, onset, rhyme, peak, coda. Internal structure and weight of the English syllable. We have learned that the syllable can be described from a phonetic as well as phonological perspective. It is good for us to know the internal structure of the English syllable and how the weight of its constituents affect it. There is no universal agreement on the precise internal structure of the syllable. While some linguists view it as comprising the segment that constitutes it, e.g., man, has, m, n, and n. Some view it as comprising morus, some as constituted by onsets, nucleus, and coda, others as onset and rhyme, which is further divisible into nucleus and coda. We have to note the importance of the vowels as a constituent of the syllable. They are plurisyllabic because they are the nucleus of the syllable, while consonants which either precede or succeed the nucleus as onset or coda are monosyllabic. Vowels is equal to nucleus. Initial consonant is equal to onset. Final consonant is equal to coda. Though a syllable may have no onset or coda, it must have a nucleus since every syllable obligatorily has a beat, which is carried by the nucleus, i.e., the vowel. The following are some of the various ways by which the syllable has been divided into its internal structures in various literatures. The symbol or sound stands for syllable henceforth, wherever it may be found. In the situation where the syllable is divided into onset and rhyme is further divided into nucleus and coda. If the rhyme contains only one segment, that is one phoneme, the syllable is said to consist of one molar. However, when the rhyme contains two or more segments, the syllable is said to be bimoraic, e.g., redeem. The word redeem has two syllables, re and dim. Re is a molar because the rhyme contains just one segment, I. The second syllable, dim, has three segments. D is the onset, while the rhyme is bimoraic because it contains two segments, high, M. Re, onset, rhyme, nucleus, one segment, one moral. Dim, onset, rhyme, nucleus, coda, two segments, bimoric. The number of morals it contains affect the weight of the syllable. A bimoric syllable is heavier than a syllable with just one moral. Therefore, a light syllable has a rhyme of a single short segment in the nucleus, i.e. has one moral, while a syllable with more than one element in the rhyme is called a heavy syllable. Suprasegmental features, such as stress, has a lot to do with the weight of the syllable. A heavy syllable has a very high tendency to be stressed, while a light syllable does not. The bimoric syllable dim is assigned stress in the word redeem, while re is not stressed. Tip: a heavy syllable has all the parts complete, i.e. onset, nucleus, coda, and is more likely to be stressed. A light syllable does not have all the parts, i.e. may not contain a coda, and is not likely to be stressed. A heavy syllable is also called a bimoric. Composition of English syllable. Now let us look at the composition of the English syllable in terms of the combination of consonants and vowels. How complex is the English syllabic structure compared to some other world languages, especially Nigerian languages? The English syllabic structure is complex. The maximum syllable structure in English is C3, V, C4. This means you may have up to 3 optional consonants starting an English word, followed by an obligatory vowel and 4 optional consonants clustering at the end of the word. Is the clustering that could occur at the beginning of an English word orderly, that is patterned or not? It is not anyhow, it is patterned. To have a succession of consonants clustering in an English word, it must start with S followed by P, T, K, and then by L, W, R. Some syllables have more than one consonant following in quick succession at their beginning, middle, or end. This is called consonant clusters. In English words, up to 3 consonants can cluster at the beginning of a word and up to 4 at the end. For example, splash has 3 consonants clustering initially, that is at the beginning, while text has 4 consonants clustering at the end of the word, that is finally. The consonant clusters are not arranged just anyhow in English. Initially, it has to follow a particular pattern. It has to start with X, followed by P, T, K, and finally by L, R, W, such as in splash, spray, stray, squeeze. S, P, T, K, R, L, W, 1, 2, 3. 3 consonant clusters. We have to be careful so that we do not confuse writing with speech. English spelling and sounds do not have a one-to-one correlation. Sometimes one of the sounds in the cluster may not be represented by a letter, but only present in sound form. For example, there are 2 consonant letters visible as clustering in the word squeeze, but when pronounced, there are 3 consonant sounds clustering in the word skew. Also in the word text, there are 3 visible consonant letters clustering, but when pronounced, 4 consonant letters are realized as clustering text. We also have some 3-letter consonant clusters that are produced as 2 sound consonant clusters. Let us look at the word shrunk with the 3 letters SHR as the initial consonant clustering in this word. when pronounced. It turns out as the two consonant cluster onset, R. Another example is the word sing, where the two letters ng are produced as a single sound ing. The fact that most Nigerian languages do not have consonant clusters in them makes it challenging for most Nigerians to use the consonant clusters of English. More often than not, some of the sounds are dropped off to make the words easier to pronounce. However, this is not a challenge that cannot be overcome with constant practice and caution, speaking and reading. Some possible English syllable structures. Unlike some world languages that may have very limited possible syllable structures, the English language has a very complex syllable system. Yoruba, for instance, has the structures CV, consonant plus vowel, vowel, V, and N, syllabic nasal. This makes the syllabic system of Yoruba easy to comprehend and even use. English has a long list of possible syllable structures. Earlier, we summarized this complex system as C3, V, C4. This, as earlier explained, means you could have up to 3 consonants as the onset of an English syllable and up to 4 as the coda. This bracket is to indicate that the onset and coda are optional parts of the English syllable. Only the vowel, which is the nucleus, is the obligatory part. Let us take a look at some of the possible syllable structures of English. V, just a single vowel functioning alone as single syllable, e.g. R, I, CV, consonant plus vowel, e.g. P, T. They are called open syllables, and they are the most common syllables types in languages. CVC, consonants plus vowel plus consonant, e.g. met, cat, ran. CCV, consonant plus vowel, e.g. pray. CCV, cos plus vowel, e.g. spray. CCVC, cos plus vowels plus cos, e.g. splash, spread. CVCCCC, cos plus vowel plus cos, e.g. text. There are many other syllable structures that are not presented here, but are also possible in the English language. The complexity of the English syllable poses a huge challenge to most Nigerian speakers who have less complex syllabic structures in their mother tongues. Open and closed syllables. The English syllable could be described as open or closed, depending on the constituents. An open syllable is one that does not have a coda but ends with a nucleus, that is, a vowel. Examples of open syllables are car, spray. These words have onset and nucleus but no coda. Syllables and words. English words are described based on the number of syllables that constitute them. Therefore, terms such as monosyllabic, disyllabic, and polysyllabic are often used to define English words. Monosyllabic words are words of one syllable such as man, go, eat. Disyllabic words are words of 2 syllables such as manage, redeem, assign. Polysyllabic words are words of more than 2 syllables such as preparation, informative, sanctity. Strong and weak syllables. We use the terms strong and weak to refer to the phonetic characteristics of syllables, which could be described partly in terms of stress by saying, for example, that strong syllables are stressed while weak syllables are unstressed. When an English syllable is stressed, it is strong, but an unstressed syllable is weak. Study section summary. In this study section, we discussed that suprasegmenta are as well as what the syllable is as the minimum domain of the suprasegmentals. We discussed the components of a syllable, noting the optional and obligatory parts. We also highlighted the possible syllabic structures in the English language and how they are complex when compared to some other world languages. We also dealt with the relationship between strong and weak syllables of English words, especially in terms of stress. End of study section 7. Thanks for listening.